Hello everyone. This is the first video of many to come. We're going to talk a lot about Azure, Entra, and M365. Everything from updates and new features and of course troubleshoot sessions. Today we're going to talk about mandatory multi-factor authentication, MFA, for Azure and other portals. This is a security measure that requires users to verify their identity using multiple methods before accessing these services. This initiative is part of Microsoft's Secure Future Initiative, SFI, and aims to enhance the security of user accounts and protect against unauthorized access. What is mandatory MFA? Mandatory MFA requires users to provide additional verification methods, such as a code sent to their mobile device or an authentication app, in addition to their password. This enforcement will apply to various portals and services, including the Azure portal, Microsoft Entra Admin Center, Microsoft 365 Admin Center, Intune Admin Center, Azure Command Line Interface CLI, Azure PowerShell, and more. Why is this a good thing? Enhanced security. MFA significantly reduces the risk of unauthorized access by adding an extra layer of security. Even if a user's password is compromised, the additional verification step makes it much harder for attackers to gain access protection against phishing. MFA helps protect against phishing attacks, which are a common method used by attackers to steal credentials. By requiring multiple forms of verification, MFA makes it more difficult for attackers to succeed. Compliance. Implementing MFA helps organizations comply with various security standards and regulations, ensuring that they meet the necessary requirements for protecting sensitive information. User trust. By enhancing security, organizations can build trust with their users, demonstrating their commitment to protecting user data and maintaining a secure environment. Overall, mandatory MFA is a crucial step in improving the security of user accounts and protecting against potential threats. It ensures that only authorized users can access sensitive information and services, making it a valuable addition to any organization's security strategy. The scope of enforcement includes which applications plan to enforce MFA, when enforcement is planned to occur, and which accounts have a mandatory MFA requirement. Accounts. All users who sign into the applications listed earlier to perform any create, read, update, or delete operation must complete MFA when the enforcement begins. Users aren't required to use MFA if they access other applications, websites, or services hosted on Azure. Each application, website, or service owner listed earlier controls the authentication requirements for users. The enforcement will not happen via conditional access policy. It will be embedded in the code of the portal or application, and therefore there is no bypassing it or disabling it. If a user tries to access any portal or applications in that list, if the user have a registered method of MFA, he will be challenged to complete. If not, he will be requested to register a method of MFA in order to access. It's important to mention that the AD Connect service account does not use any of the listed services to be enforced. On the other hand, if you are using normal user accounts as service accounts, we recommend begin the process of discovery and migration to workload identities. This will often require updating scripts and automation processes to use workload identities. Prepare for multi-factor authentication documentation to identify all user accounts, including user accounts being used as service accounts, signing into the Phase 2 applications. For guidance on migrating authentication with these applications from user-based service accounts to workload identities, review the following documentations. Sign into Azure with a managed identity using the Azure CLI. Sign into Azure with a service principal using the Azure CLI. Sign into Azure PowerShell non-interactively for automation scenarios. Includes guidance for both managed identity and service principal use cases. All the documentations are listed on the description section below. Administrators applying conditional access policies to the user-based service accounts can reclaim this user-based license and apply workload identities license to apply conditional access for workload identities. Note: Microsoft do not recommend user accounts as service accounts because they are less secure. This includes on-premises service accounts synced to Microsoft Entra ID, because they aren't converted to service principals. Instead, they recommend managed identities, or service principals, and the use of conditional access. I strongly recommend to read the documentation for the mandatory MFA for Azure and other admin portals. This is it for today, folks. If you have any question on the MFA enforcement, please share in the comment section, and I will try to answer all of your questions. Please feel free to suggest other topics. As I said, this channel will review new updates and features, but also host troubleshooting sessions, so please make a suggestion for a topic or a specific error scenario you are facing and like to discuss. If you like this type of content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so it can reach more users or companies interested on this type of content. Thank you, and see you all in the next video.